Black artists don't sell internationally. The record executive leans back in his leather chair, confident, certain, like he's stating a law of physics, not a racist assumption. MTV won't play your videos. The global market isn't ready. Michael Jackson sits across the conference table, 21 years old, and what he says in the next 12 minutes doesn't just change one man's mind. It breaks down barriers that have existed for decades and creates the blueprint for how Thriller becomes the best-selling album of all time. Epic Records headquarters, New York City, March 1979. Monday morning, 47th floor. The boardroom table is solid mahogany, floor-to-ceiling windows showing Manhattan's skyline. This is where careers are made and destroyed. Michael Jackson arrived 30 minutes early, sat in the lobby waiting, security guard asking twice if he needs anything, receptionist glancing at him, wondering what this young black man is doing here. The microaggressions pile up, but Michael saves his energy for battles that matter. Ron Weissner, Michael's manager, sits beside him now, nervous, knows this meeting is critical. The Jackson 5 era is over. Michael's solo career beginning, off the wall about to drop. But Epic Records is hesitant, worried about investing serious money in a black solo artist trying to cross over. The door opens, 3 executives enter, power dynamics clear in every gesture. Walter Benson leads, 52 years old, Senior VP of International Marketing, 30 years in the industry, knows every market, every demographic, every barrier, wearing a suit that costs more than most people make in a month. Gold watch, wedding ring, his face already assessing, already judging. Behind him, 2 younger executives, David Klein and Marcus Rivers, both looking at Michael with expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. Benson sits at the head of the table, makes everyone wait while he opens his briefcase, establishing dominance through subtle delays, finally looks at Michael. Jackson, Benson says. Voice smooth, professional. We've reviewed the material for Off the Wall. Impressive work. Quincy Jones delivered excellent production. Michael nods, waits, knows the real message is coming. But we have concerns, Benson continues. Concerns about international potential, about crossover appeal, about whether this album can perform beyond the traditional R&B demographic. Ron Weissner leans forward. The demos are testing incredibly well. The music is universal. Benson raises his hand, cutting him off. Let's be realistic. Let's look at the facts. He opens a folder, pulls out charts, market analysis. The global music market is dominated by white artists. Benson says, stating it like natural law. Elvis, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. That's what sells internationally. That's what radio plays. That's what MTV will play when they launch. Michael's jaw tightens, the only visible sign of anger building. Now, we're not saying black artists can't be successful. Benson continues. Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, they've had crossover success, but their international sales are a fraction of comparable white artists. The global market simply isn't ready. Marcus Rivers adds, MTV has already indicated they won't play videos by black artists. They're programming for suburban white kids. That's where advertising dollars are. And without MTV exposure, David Klein says, international radio won't pick up singles. We can't justify the marketing budget for global release. Ron Weissner is getting frustrated. Michael sees it, but Michael puts his hand on Ron's arm. Gentle pressure, a signal I've got this. Then Michael speaks for the first time. Mr. Benson, can I ask you a question? Benson looks surprised, of course. When you listen to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, what do you hear? Benson pauses. I hear a well-produced disco track. Excellent vocals. Strong hook. Do you hear a black song or do you hear a song? The question hangs in the air. Benson shifts uncomfortably. Exactly, Michael says. Voice still quiet but powerful underneath. You don't hear a distinction because there isn't one. Music doesn't have a race. Music has a feeling, a truth, a connection that goes beyond what the artist looks like. He pauses, lets that land. You're telling me the global market isn't ready, but what you mean is the global market hasn't been given the chance to choose, hasn't been exposed to the possibility. Benson starts to respond, but Michael continues. MTV won't play black artists because they're programming for rock, but rock and roll was invented by black artists. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, they created the sound that white artists borrowed. So MTV isn't reflecting reality. They're creating a false reality. David Klein interjects, but that's the market reality we have to work within. Can't we? Michael asks, leaning forward, what if the music is so undeniable that refusing to play it becomes a business liability? What if the demand is so strong that excluding it means losing audience? That's a big what if, Marcus Rivers says. Is it? Michael pulls out his own folder. The Jackson 5 sold 100 million records worldwide. Black artists leading a group that appealed to every demographic. We did it once, we can do it again. Benson is listening now, really listening. You're looking at historical patterns, and assuming they're permanent. Michael continues, but every barrier in music history has eventually fallen. They all seem permanent until someone breaks through. Ron Weissner is watching Michael with something like awe, has never seen him like this. Let me tell you what I see. Michael says, intensity building, an opportunity to create something that transcends every category, every demographic, an album so good that radio has to play it, that MTV has to show it. And if they don't, Benson asks, genuinely curious now. Then we prove them irrelevant. We make the music so undeniable that refusing it becomes a losing strategy. He pauses, then delivers the line that will be repeated for 40 years. You're telling me the barriers exist, and you're right, they do. But barriers don't stop change, they just determine who gets to be part of it. You can either invest in breaking through or watch someone else do it. The room is silent, but Michael isn't done. Mr. Benson, you mentioned Elvis, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, white artists who dominated globally. But can I tell you what they had in common? Benson nods. They were all influenced by black music. Elvis sang like black gospel singers. The Beatles learned from Motown. The Rolling Stones covered blues by black artists. They took our sound, and the industry invested millions promoting it globally. Michael's voice carries an edge now. So here's my question. If white artists can take black music and sell it globally, why can't black artists sell our own music globally? The question lands like a bomb, calling out the entire structure without saying racism once. Benson sits back, quiet for a long moment, decades of assumptions being challenged. You make a compelling argument, Benson finally says, but the market will decide. Then let's talk about minimizing risk. Michael says, shifting to practical strategy. Release off the wall with standard budget. Let the music prove itself. When it performs, when it crosses over, then we discuss the next album. We discuss Thriller. Wait, Michael just said Thriller. The album doesn't exist yet, but he's already envisioning it. Ron Weissner looks at Michael, surprised. This wasn't planned. If Off the Wall succeeds internationally, Michael continues, will Epic commit to a bigger vision for the next album? And this is genius. Michael reframed the entire conversation, turned it from Epic deciding whether to invest in him into Michael deciding whether Epic deserves to be part of his vision. Benson sees it, recognizes when he's been outmaneuvered. If Off the Wall performs at the level you're projecting, if it breaks through internationally, yes, we'll commit to bigger investment. Not discuss. Michael says, commit full marketing support. Everything necessary to break every barrier. Benson looks at Klein and Rivers. They nod. If Off the Wall sells 5 million copies globally, and charts in 10 international markets, Epic will commit. Michael extends his hand. Deal. I hope you're right about this, Benson says. I am. Michael responds. Not arrogant, just certain. And 3 years from now, we'll be sitting here again, and you'll be thanking me for making Epic more money than any artist in your history. Off the Wall releases August 1979. The test begins. First single, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Hits #1 in the US, then charts in UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, everywhere. The sound is universal. Radio can't ignore it. Off the Wall sells 20 million copies globally. 4 times Benson's target. Proves every assumption wrong. Crosses every demographic. 1982. 3 years later, Michael is back at Epic. Same boardroom, but dynamics completely changed. Now he's the artist who proved everyone wrong. Benson stands to shake his hand. Proper respect now. Welcome back. Mr. Benson, I believe we had an agreement. We do, and I'm prepared to offer full support. Whatever budget you need. Michael pulls out a thick folder. I want to make the best album in history. I want to break every sales record. Force MTV to change their policy. He slides the folder across. Benson opens it. Eyebrows raise. The budget is unprecedented. This is expensive. Benson says carefully. So was Off the Wall. Michael responds. You told me the global market wasn't ready. You were wrong. So do you trust me again? Or do I take this to a label that will? Benson closes the folder. Approved full budget. Whatever you need. And MTV. Michael asks. We make a video so good they can't refuse. Quincy suggests. Thriller video. Michael says. 14 minutes. $500,000. Something that forces MTV to choose between their policy and their business. This is the moment where Michael's vision goes beyond personal success to systemic change. Benson nods. Approved. Thriller releases December 1982. The world changes. 70 million copies sold. Best-selling album of all time. MTV resists at first. Refuses Billie Jean. But CBS threatens to pull all artists. The pressure builds. MTV breaks. Plays Billie Jean. It becomes second most requested overnight. By 1984, MTV's programming changed completely. Black artists in regular rotation. The barrier demolished through making art so undeniable that excluding it became impossible. Walter Benson retires. 1990. Gives final interview to Billboard. They ask about his biggest career moment. March 1979. Meeting with Michael Jackson. He was 21. I was 52. I had 3 decades of experience. I walked in thinking I understood how the market worked. He pauses. Michael taught me that barriers aren't laws of physics. They're assumptions. And assumptions can be wrong. I almost said no. Almost let my limited vision prevent Epic from being part of the most important album in history. 2009. Michael dies. At memorial, Berry Gordy says, Michael didn't just make music. He changed what music could be, changed who got access. But the most powerful tribute comes from Walter Benson, 82 years old, who flies to Los Angeles to attend, stands outside Staples Center, with thousands of fans. A reporter asks why he came. Because in 1979, I told a 21-year-old black artist that the global market wasn't ready, that barriers couldn't be broken, and instead of accepting that, he proved me wrong so completely that the industry became something entirely different. He pauses. Overcome. He didn't just change music. He changed me. Taught me that cynicism isn't wisdom. That barriers aren't laws. I'm here because I owe him acknowledgement that he was right. Who in your life is telling you the barriers are permanent? Who's explaining why your vision won't work? Why the system won't change? Michael was told black artists can't sell globally. Was told MTV won't play his videos. Was told the barriers are permanent. He didn't argue. Didn't accept the limitations. He just made art so undeniable that every barrier became irrelevant. 12 minutes in 1979, became Thriller in 1982, became 70 million copies, became MTV policy, change became doors opened for every artist who followed. Barriers exist until someone breaks them. Assumptions seem true, until someone proves them wrong. And 12 minutes of quiet certainty became the blueprint for how you change an entire industry. By refusing to accept what everyone says is impossible.